They might give you 1,000 reasons not to, but when you do, they don't support you either. I was always taught that girls can't work. The only job they have is to take care of the kids and raise them. I've seen friends with ruined lives just because their parents were too busy printing notes, but I had seen a dream as well. I wanted to become a doctor, no matter if I worked from home. I don't care. They promised me to make me a doctor and to find a husband who will allow me to work, but before money, all the demands bowed their head, and so did mine without me knowing about it. I know they want me to live a rich life, but what's the use if my dreams never turn out to be a reality? So I ran away, met you at the club. That small drama scared me. But the next day, I found a job at a restaurant which caught fire, and I met you again. Things got stable again, but then my brother found me and made me realize what world I had chosen for completing my dreams. You do the racing, but do you have any idea what happens before and after? Drugs, prostitution, betting, and whatnot. Young kids wasting their lives in it, and you being the reason. My brother had promised me that he'll fight by my side to accomplish my dreams. The only thing he demanded was to trust the people who raised me for 25 years without any profits and expectance to get something back. You're a good man, Zack. And the great heart, your world, the people in it reflects on you. No one in my family has killed anyone, even by mistake. My brother, he won't let me be with you, and I can't go against him.
At that moment, I didn't know whether it was a trap or was it genuine. I had to know whatever happened before and after the races. So I wore a hoodie and went to a random after race party. There were just too many youngsters there. All of them were drinking or drunk. I had a bad memory with drinking, so all of them seemed to be on a destructive path for me. Not many of them were overdrunk, but there were some who were robbed in front of me but couldn't realize. Most of the girls out there were gold diggers. Money was game there. Yes, I spotted drugs too, as well as some good colleagues of mine. I took one at the side, revealed my face to him, and asked him what was happening here. He laughed out, as I was unaware of whatever was going on. Then he revealed that this party was hosted by Joffrey. Joffrey was well aware about the drugs being sold because he was selling it. It generated money worth way more than I earn in any of my race. Before me, hundreds of kids drowned their parents' earnings in the name of freedom. And then there was one who left for his mother and sister. But how could the society accept someone not one of them? So he was removed by being murdered by me. I had to stop this. Anyhow, I was about to leave when I saw Simi entering the party, and I headed to know where she was going. I approached her as a friend of Ajay, and she replied saying someone called her saying that he knows who killed her brother. Simi was here because someone called her saying that he or she knows who killed her brother. I was going through something similar, as well as I was the killer of her brother. So I was shook. I said her to leave As I was not very impressed by the things going at that place, she refused, doubted me for being Ajay's friend. I needed to grab her confidence, so I asked her a question. Who paid all of the Ajay's bills? She promptly said someone unknown. I asked the exact figure which was paid and showed her a transaction receipt on my mobile. Then I told her about who I actually was. Zack the racer, Ajay's biggest idol. Her eyes filled of tears. I hugged her, calming her down. I requested her to leave as this wasn't a safe place. She went to the bus stop, so I gave her a lift home. She requested me to go and meet her mom. She was discharged that very day. I went in, her mom was sleeping. She woke her up and told her everything. Her mom realized me meeting her on the other day. With filled eyes, she smiled. The person who killed my parents was caught by the police in a village. But before he could say who funded him to murder them, he died of food poisoning and the case was closed. The inspector handling that case was alive though, and I was told to go to him and say the name Jamie. On reaching his address, I realized that he had retired, so I knocked his door, and when he asked me my identity, I said Jamie. He said the thing I could never expect. He said, Joffrey was the one to kill the murderer of my parents. Joffrey apparently killed my parents so that I could be boomed, but the killer was caught, and hence Joffrey killed the killer as well. I was like, what? It could be, but no, it was not true. I wasn't ready to accept it. But it was proved by a suicide letter left by Jamie, the one who killed the killer of my parents, for Joffrey. In the letter, he clearly mentioned killing the killer. In further paragraphs, he mentioned being connected to Joffrey. But a suicide letter is not a strong enough evidence to prove an act which happened years ago. Joffrey just shut the case even before it meant anything. I was very, very sad. I looked up in the sky and asked him, why? Why is it always that the ones against me are my own people, the ones I love? I needed to talk to Joffrey about it. I went straight to him, threw a copy of the suicide letter on his face, asked for answers. He asked me to calm down, but I didn't. I was fierce, angry, sad, disappointed, confused, and he was speechless. He spoke after a while, claiming to kill the killer for some other cause. But I was there for no shit. With all due respect of whatever he did for me, I asked him to close down J and Z. He replied saying, I didn't kill your parents. You don't have any proof I did. You can't even because I didn't. I don't care, is what I replied. Continuing with, you might not have killed them, but you killed the source to find the real killers. Whatever happened, helped me to be whatever I am today. But down there is a group of youth being destroyed. And I was okay with it, but now it has started to tickle me. Now it has started to come against my love. You grew me to whatever I am, so I won't let vengeance consume me. Close down GNZ and do whatever you want, I don't care. But if GNZ doesn't close down, I have other ways too. Joffrey smiled and said, you call me dirty, but am I the only one who has got dirt on their sleeves? No, so here's the thing. You need a family, you get one. You make a move to destroy me and you lose it all again. How dare you, I shouted. At least I wasn't a killer, he replied. Who killed him? I asked. I can't tell, he replied. At my apartment, I cried a lot. Everything was over. My parents, my best friend, my love, and soon my new family.
He won't let me be with you. And I can't go against him.
I had very less to select from. The man behind my entire career was hiding the killer of my parents. The girl I love more than myself left me because of my people. The family I claimed to be mine was destroyed by me. I had never felt so helpless before. If Susie was by my side, I would have hugged her and cried thinking with her. I felt so powerless without her. I started to think what she would suggest me to do. She wanted me to change my life and not to be in this racing world. So I decided that I will. I grabbed all the power I had and went straight to Simi's mom. The plan was to tell them the truth, convince them, and settle at some other place with them. Forget the past and forgive. But I forgot something. Before forgiving someone, I had to be forgiven first, which unfortunately didn't happen. A slap made me realize the size of my mistake. I was removed from the house and was requested to never come back. Whenever all paths close down, there is one which opens up. The path to the dead people. The path to the graveyard. The path to my mom and dad, resting side by side, and their son, who chose racing over them. And here he was, on his knees, spending an hour over there, crying, talking, thinking, and what not. I wanted to finish my life, start it all again, be a good son. I knew I couldn't. No one can. But even if I couldn't defend them, I decided that I'll at least avenge them. I went straight to Joffrey and said him to reveal the name of the person who killed my parents, or I'll leak the images of drugs being sold at the party, and both of us will go to jail. Before he spoke a word, I informed him that my secret wasn't a secret anymore. Joffrey thought for a while, looked at me eye to eye, and said, "Well, bro, my father sent that man to kill your parents. He wasn't a bad father after all. He just wanted you to boost, and he thought that by killing your parents, you will get enraged and start winning some races, not cause me so many losses." The killer got caught, and before he could take my father's name, I had to kill him to cover things up. I had no words to say. I just turned back and started walking. When Joffrey spoke again, I turned around. He had a gun pointing at me. He said, "I can't stay in the fear of you leaking the papers, and my father isn't safe when you are around. You had many fans, Zack. I hope they remember you after you're dead." The bullet hit my arm. Another bullet, my back, while I was running. Another on my leg while I was escaping, and one final, which would hit my chest if the car didn't come in between. The back door of the car opened, and I jumped in. The driver drove fast. We were followed. Due to too much bleeding, I fainted. And when my eyes opened up, I was at a ship. I asked the guy who was he. He claimed to be a fan of me. He gave me some bandages and food, and left. I looked up in the sky. The sky was a screen now. the biggest screen I had ever seen. My mistakes, my downfalls were all being projected on it. I had the bandages, but I couldn't apply them. I had the food, but I couldn't eat it. I had a third life to live, so I couldn't escape. That night marked the beginning of my third life. Funny part of the story was that the fan was actually one of Joffrey's, as he couldn't kill me. Hence, he implanted fear in me so that I never come back. But I did. Yes, I did.